At Eagle Desks, we are researching the topic of education equity and the challenges it presents. To gain deeper insights, we interviewed Sir Ahmad Mehdi, Ma'am Fatma Farid, and Ma'am Mohammadi Mohyuddin. This is our exploration of education equity and its impact.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
What is your name?
My name is Mohammadi Mohyuddin.
My name is Sayyid Ammar Mehdi.
Fatima Farid.
Can you tell us about your background?
So I am an educator.
So I have a background in psychology
I have been involved in education since my student days.
and I have been part of the education sector for 7 to 8 years almost.
So the first question is, what factors prevent children from low-income backgrounds from accessing quality education?
Okay. I believe you have answered half of the question yourself by saying low income backgrounds, low income families.
So the biggest factor or hurdle that prevents children from low income families is that usually there is one child who is forced to work to support a larger family size of more siblings.
So number one, their own personal resources. They don't have the money to go to schools, universities and colleges that provide the quality education that we need in today's market.
Low income families have large families to feed, and there is only one breadwinner. So when they have one breadwinner, it becomes very difficult to make both ends meet.
Number two, our system within our country is set in a way where it caters to a certain class system.
Mostly, in most of the cases which I have observed, they prefer sending their 8-year-olds or 10-year-olds to work as well, so that they can eat at least twice a day. So in such some circumstances, how can they send their children to school?
So the second question is, what are the key differences in the quality of education between public and private schools?
So public schools in Pakistan unfortunately are not given the same level of resources that private schools are.
When we look at the strength, the student strength in the private sector, it is 20 to 25. So one-on-one attention can be given. But when we look at the public sector or public schools, there are 60 to 70 students per class.
The difference is in teachers. If you observe the teachers of these two institutions, you'll realize that perhaps the accountability when it comes to private schools and universities is more.
In public schools, we will see that the classroom sizes are much larger, the teachers are underpaid, they're not as well trained, and in private schools, obviously, we have smaller classroom sizes, which leads to better student to teacher ratios, and that leads to a higher quality of education.
So the third question is, from your experience, what initiatives have successfully improved education equity in Pakistan?
I won't say education equity has been improved.
Governments and I think civil society and people, private sector on their own, they have taken this initiative and responsibility.
The reason why is because we don't always find schemes or certain strategies being implemented by schools openly.
So scholarships and providing deserving students the opportunity to pursue their studies typically help students who are from low income families perform at the same level as those from middle class or even upper class families, and that reason because of that is that in these situations the child may be intelligent or gifted but they're not able to go and study because of financial need, so scholarships and such initiatives definitely do help.
I mean, but there are different programs that people have.
Yes, so some of the things that I know is that places in rural Pakistan or places in the northern areas of Pakistan, education is, especially in the northern areas, Gilgit, Chitral, Dir, Swat, the literacy rate is high, and the reason why is because the people there, they have implemented certain schemes and strategies that ensures that every person has the right access to at least basic level of education.
So the fourth question is, how can teachers and school administrators contribute to making education more inclusive?
Okay, this is very close to my heart.
So this might be a bit of a controversial answer, but I think that teachers themselves can volunteer to teach at public schools or at places which are open to the public.
I myself am working on the same, on inclusion, diversity and equity.
So most private school teachers these days, they only teach at two places, the school, or they teach at tuition academies or tuition centers where they make money in the evening. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if we want to make education more exclusive, then teachers and educators need to see how they can volunteer within their own community to teach.
I believe that giving chances to or getting slow learners enrolled, special children enrolled on campus is the answer to that question on inclusivity.
So the fifth question is, how can public-private partnerships help in improving educational equity?
Okay. I myself have observed and I have been a part of it.
So there's definitely potential for public-private partnerships to help make education more accessible. In Islamabad, there are initiatives such as the Black Hole, which offers public lectures and is free and open to all, where people from different intellectuals, artists and scientists from across Pakistan, they can come and share their ideas and deliver these talks which are accessible to the public.
The public-private partnership needs to be enforced.
We have TAs, teacher assistants, where students from private sector or from students from public sector also, they can come, as I said earlier, student exchange program, they can conduct lessons, they can conduct some experiments, and they can be part of any national or international projects together.
So anything else you would like to add to this education?
No, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
After listening to our mentors, we were inspired to explore educational equity on our own and soon realized how deeply the gap between public and private schools contributes to the broader challenge in Pakistan.
Pakistan's education system is deeply divided into two major sectors, public and private schools. While both aim to provide education, the disparity between the two is significant, creating unequal opportunities for students across the country. This divide is not just a matter of different educational approaches but also reflects broader issues of access, quality, and opportunity in Pakistan's society. Problems. The core issue within Pakistan's education system lies in the vast differences between public and private schools. Public schools, despite being government-funded and free of charge, often struggle with overcrowded classrooms, outdated infrastructure, and a shortage of qualified teachers. Many schools lack basic facilities like clean water, electricity, or proper sanitation, which affects the overall learning environment. As a result, students in public schools often face significant barriers to quality education. Private schools, on the other hand, offer better facilities, smaller class sizes, and more qualified teachers, but they charge tuition fees that many families in Pakistan cannot afford. This creates an educational divide, where children from wealthier families have access to better opportunities, while those from poorer backgrounds are left behind. This divide not only affects academic performance but also limits long-term opportunities for students in public schools. Causes. Several factors contribute to this division in Pakistan's education system. 1. Underfunding of public schools. The government's insufficient investment in public education has led to overcrowded classrooms, lack of facilities, and poorly paid or unqualified teachers. 2. Socioeconomic disparities. Families in lower income areas often cannot afford the tuition fees of private schools, making them reliant on public education, which may not offer the same quality of instruction. 3. Cultural perception. There is a perception that private schools offer a better education, which perpetuates the gap. 3. Many families believe that sending their children to private schools will lead to better opportunities, further increasing the demand for private education. 4. Lack of regulation. Private schools, especially those in urban areas, are often unregulated, leading to variations in educational standards. 4. Some private institutions may not offer a robust curriculum or qualified staff, despite the higher fees they charge. Solutions. To address the educational divide between public and private schools, several steps can be taken. 1. Increase funding for public schools. The government needs to prioritize funding for public education to ensure that schools are properly equipped and that teachers receive adequate training and compensation. 2. Improved teacher training and accountability. A key solution is to invest in training teachers and ensuring their regular attendance. 2. This will help raise the quality of education in public schools and make them more competitive with private institutions. 3. Subsidized education for low-income families. The government could introduce subsidies or scholarships for low-income families to help them afford private schooling or enhance the quality of public schools in underprivileged areas. 4. Public-private partnerships. Public-private partnerships could be explored, where private schools and the government collaborate to improve education in public schools. 4. Private sector involvement can bring expertise, resources, and innovation to the public education system. 5. Regulation of private schools. The government should regulate private schools to ensure they maintain a standard of education and do not exploit families financially. 5. This would ensure that students in private schools also receive a quality education for the fees they pay. Conclusion. While both public and private schools serve the same fundamental purpose, education, the vast disparity in resources, quality, and opportunities continues to create a significant divide in Pakistan's education system. Addressing this divide requires a comprehensive approach involving increased investment in public schools, better teacher training, and innovative solutions like subsidies for low-income families. Only by bridging the gap between public and private education can Pakistan ensure that all students have access to the opportunities they deserve, regardless of their socio-economic background.